Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. The left is melting down again over Donald Trump, and this time because his wealth has been greatly increased this last week due to Truth Social. It has actually catapulted him to one of the top 500 wealthiest people in the world. This is epic.
And it's being valued in the billions of dollars. I mean, literally something like 2,000 times the revenue number. I mean, the whole thing is absurd. Why the SEC does not think there's some kind of stock manipulation going on, by the way. But clearly, this is one of these almost meme-like stocks where there's clearly a group of people that are trying to push up the price to almost transfer money, potentially, to the former president.
Okay, a couple quick points. One, Truth Social is overvalued. I mean, you can't objectively look at it and say that it isn't. That being said, there have been plenty of overvalued stocks that eventually caught up with valuations. Think back to Amazon, which didn't turn a profit for the longest time. Their cash burn rate was excessive. They had no price to earnings ratio because they had no earnings. Similar to Truth Social. Now, the issue is that many people are buying Truth Social simply because it is Donald Trump and they want to support him. Fine, they can do that. They can do that. It increases his net worth. That's what they're really freaking out about. But the other thing is, think about the ramifications if Trump wins the presidency. What happens to Truth Social then? So some people might just be making a bet, which the stock market is betting.
That's what's going on here. Now, the question is whether he can sell his shares or get a loan against those shares. The only way that can happen right now, he can't just go sell the shares tomorrow. He would need to get permission from the board, and that would then have to get disclosed. By the way, that unto itself could tank the stock even more because he would have to be a massive seller of the stock. So that's where we are.
Mika, even yesterday when the stock went down 25%, let's put this in perspective. Yeah. It is still valued at a number greater than what Harley Davidson, Bausch & Lomb are valued at. Those are companies that make products and make billions of dollars. Technically speaking, you would say this company is fakakta. It does not do anything, okay? Any other social media platform that went public has a real business, has product innovations. This is nothing. All this is Donald Trump posting.
Okay, she's being completely disingenuous here because she doesn't get it. Let's give them some grace here because the left doesn't understand free speech because they get to enjoy the ability to just say whatever they want, whenever they want, and nobody's going to censor them. But what Trump is selling is actually two things. One is it's his voice because it's his platform and it's the only place he posts. That's worth something. But number two, he's selling free speech. And you know what? That's actually worth something to people. It's worth a whole heck of a lot to people. That's the product. The ability for conservatives to speak their mind because still, even over on X, YouTube, everywhere, you will get censored for saying the wrong things or at least suppressed.
And so you've got, as Andrew said, that whole kind of Wall Street bets, Trump loyalists, rah-rah boys saying, I'm going to take this thing to the moon. But the other group that could be, more dangerous. What an unbelievable transfer of money, right? Unofficial payments, right. Unregulated, almost political donations that nobody's going to track. And that's when people are looking at the SEC saying, are you kidding me?
Look, it's now a publicly traded company. Trump owns the majority. The stock goes up. He does well. They're freaking out about this. And what's the left's answer every time? Get the government involved. You got to get the government involved, not only to shut down free speech, but now to shut down this Trump's wealth creation machine.
What does this say about the stock market?
Well, I mean, it doesn't speak well about the stock market, but this is true. I mean, that's why I said, where's the SEC in this? Because this is one of those true manipulations of sorts.
You want to talk about manipulation? This is actually the market just playing out in regards to trends. You want manipulation? BlackRock buying up 44% of single-family residences last year that went for sale in the United States. That's manipulation. That's actually taking a whole group of people, the American middle class, and removing them from the housing market because they're making housing too expensive. That's manipulation. And they're not upset about that, but they're upset about this. People investing $100 into Donald Trump stock.
And by the way, some of that manipulation is even happening on different social media sites, including Truth Social, about how this all is working, meaning people are trying to push up the price in almost like a pyramid-like way to try to get money to the president to try to effectively influence the outcome of the election.
Okay, this is freaking nuts here. Because remember the Time magazine article about fortifying the election? Remember that piece? And Mark Zuckerberg and his Zuckerbucks $450 million to influence the outcome of the election, all the lawfare, everything else that they're doing, and now all of a sudden they're concerned about money influencing the outcome of the election? Disingenuous turds.
And why nobody's sitting around going, what is going on here? This makes no sense. And it's happening.
Definitely watching it, right? The SEC is watching this thing like a hawk. And listen, he's worth all this money on paper right now, but giddy up. Because the day he goes to sell this thing, look out below.
Well, to your point,
it's going to tank.
Again, back to their only hope, government intervention. We need more government intervention. And on top of that, she's sitting there talking about if Donald Trump goes to sell. Do you honestly think Donald Trump would just go try to unload all his shares at once if he did sell? They're not dealing rationally with this subject because they're so irrational about Donald Trump.
This is a metaphor for how he deals with his voting people. He ends up screwing everybody. So he would, if anybody gets any money out of it, it'll be him. But you have all these people here who are buying worthless stock.
Right.
And
but then it's on them.
But what
let it be them rather than taxpayer dollars.
The other reason.
Okay, I got to ask a question to all of you, and please just comment down below. At this point, if you bought $100 worth of this True Social stock, and let's say it went to $10, let's say you lost 90% of your value. Would you feel more hosed over by that, or would you feel more hosed over by the government that takes the money you're not able to freely give through taxation and then spends more than they have to then place undue burdens on your grandkids, all the while utilizing agencies like CISA and all these others to actually fortify the election? Who would you feel more hosed over by? And they're acting like Donald Trump's the big charlatan. The big charlatan is the U.S. government.
The reason also what this is never going to make money is nobody's going to advertise on a Trump platform. You can't get advertised other than, gold bullion or these crazy things.
Hey, go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Lumberjack. Look, these people. I mean, gold bullion. Do you know what my gold has done in the last week? My gold and silver, it went up about 20%. These people are so tied to the fake dollar and the fake stock market, which, by the way, the current price to earnings ratio on the S&P 500 is around 28. So that means it's going to take 28 years for the value of that stock to reach the earnings of that stock. Does that make sense? I mean, it's overvalued 28 times the earnings of a single year. And we're told that these are the Ponzi schemes. My pillow, my gosh, at least I get a good night's sleep. Gold bullion, real tangible money. That's why I go to MidasGoldGroup.com and tell them I sent you and you can get free silver with qualifying order. Look, these people are bananas. They are so needing to support the current fiat counterfeit money system and counterfeit stock market. And they act like anybody who doesn't think that's real is the foolish one.
You used to see on Tucker Carlson's show, you cannot monetize this. You cannot sell ad space on this thing. So I don't know where the revenue stream is going to ever be in this company.
So John Howman, give us your take. First of all, you can try to spell the word Stephanie used earlier a moment ago if you'd like.
Oh, you need a Jew.
Gotcha.
That's when you come to the Jew.
But beyond that, we know that Truth Social is not Twitter in terms of the former president's reach. He doesn't go to nearly as many people, but it's still an avenue for him to, it gets amplified on cable and so on. But this feels like it's a financial lifeline and another moment where people look around going, man, he's going to get away with it.
Okay, so this is my favorite clip of the whole thing. And he's right. You know what? It's not Twitter. It doesn't have near the users. It doesn't have near the reach. Trump made one post on X in the last year and it went bananas. Okay. And that was his mugshot picture. But that being said, he's going to get away with it. Listen to their words. They're so concerned. Remember after the trial when a bond got reduced from 400 and some odd million down to 175 million and they felt like he was getting away with it? It's 175 million dollars. None of these people could post it. It's ridiculous for them to act like this. And they're talking about he might get away with it. Do you know what I'm concerned about? I'm concerned about Hunter Biden getting away with 450 some odd documented federal crimes involving, selling off our national secrets, involving all the prostitutes, the drugs, everything. And yet they're worried about Donald Trump getting away with it. Getting away with what? Selling a stock? Going public with his company? The fact that people like him and it raises money? I could care less about that. I'm very concerned about the, stealing from, the U.S. taxpayer and funneling money through Ukraine and China and wherever else. That's what I'm concerned about, folks. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Remember to subscribe if you're new. Peace out.